Robert Greene, the author of The 48 Laws of Power, once gave a terrifying warning. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Why did he say that? Because an enemy is honest. He tells you he wants to kill you, but a friend? A friend hides his knife behind a smile. You are successful, you are growing, and you think your friends are happy for you. Think again. Envy is a silent killer. It rots relationships from the inside out, and if you don't spot it early, the people you trust the most will be the ones who stab you the deepest. Today, I will give you a psychological X-ray called the good news test. It will help you see the snake in the grass before it bites. Here are the 3 signs of a hidden enemy. Sign number 1, the delayed smile. This is based on micro-expressions. The body cannot lie. The face reflects the soul before the mask is put on. So, use the good news test. Tell them something amazing about your life. I just got a huge promotion, or I just bought my dream car. Then, watch their face closely for the first 0.5 seconds. A real friend reacts instantly. Their eyes crinkle, their smile explodes. They mirror your energy. But a hidden enemy? They glitch. For a split second, you will see a flash of anger. Their lips will tighten, their eyebrows will frown. Then, their brain catches up. They force a smile and say, "Wow, that is great." But that 0.5 second delay, that was the truth. That was the envy leaking out. Trust the glitch, not the words. So, what is the counter move? Do not call them out. Do not get angry. Instead, put them on an information diet. From this moment on, they lose the privilege of knowing your life. Stop sharing your wins. Stop sharing your dreams. Become a gray rock to them. If they cannot celebrate your success, they do not deserve to hear about it. Sign number 2, the butt syndrome. They praise you, and then they deflate you. They give you a compliment, wrapped in poison. Congratulations on the new business. But are you sure about the economy right now? You look great in that suit, but it looks a bit tight on the shoulders. Why do they do this? Because your success makes them feel small. They need to lower your value to protect their fragile ego. In dark psychology, this is called leveling. They cannot rise to your level, so they try to drag you down to theirs. So, what is the counter move? Use the spotlight question. When they drop the butt, do not defend yourself. Instead, pause. Look them dead in the eye and ask calmly, "That is a weird thing to worry about. Why did you say that?" Shine the spotlight on their insecurity. Force them to explain their rudeness. They will panic. They will stutter. And they will never try to level you again. Sign number 3, the ghost of good times. Have you noticed a pattern? When you are sad, they are always there. They love to listen to your problems. They love to offer pity. But the moment you win, they vanish. They are too busy to celebrate. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, said, "He who is jealous of another's lot ignores his own." These people are addicted to your pain because it makes them feel superior. But they cannot handle your joy because it reminds them of their failure. So, what is the counter move? Stop being their emotional supply. When you are down, do not call them. Handle your pain like a Stoic, in private. And when they realize you no longer need their pity, they will leave on their own. Let them go. This is not friendship. This is parasitism. So, let me tell you a secret. I had a friend named Dave. Dave was a hater. He was secretly jealous of everything I did. But instead of getting angry, I decided to change my perspective. I turned him into my reverse compass. When I wanted to invest in a risky asset years ago, I asked Dave. He laughed and said, "That is a scam. You will lose everything." I saw his eyes. He wasn't protecting me. He was terrified that I might succeed. So, I took that as a green light. I bought it immediately, and I made a fortune. Last month, I showed him a safe business idea. He smiled and said, "Wow, Dan, that sounds great. You should do it." I canceled the project 5 minutes later, because if a jealous man feels comfortable with your idea, it means it has zero potential. You see, envious people are actually very useful. They point exactly to where the success is, and they beg you not to go there. So I let his envy guide me to the treasure. But once I found the treasure, I realized I had outgrown the compass. I didn't need the negativity anymore. So I walked away, because a compass is just a tool. It cannot be a friend. So, look closely at your circle. See the delayed smiles, hear the poisonous buts, and realize one brutal truth. You cannot carry big dreams with small people on your back. But once you spot the snakes, do not scream, do not argue. That is what victims do. A king punishes with a different weapon. He punishes with silence. You feel invisible? You feel interrupted? That ends now. In the next video, I will teach you the art of the pregnant pause. I will show you how to regain control of any conversation and make your words weigh a ton. I will teach you how to make the room freeze just by counting to 3. It is time to stop being invisible. It is time to become a black hole. Subscribe and prepare for the power of silence.